I was at work and getting on the elevator, and I reached up with my right hand and pushed the button for the elevator. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, I couldn't do that before.
Welcome to the second bonus video, Healing Through Martial Arts. This heartfelt video presents the inspiring story of a Genbukan student who was partially paralyzed in a skiing accident and used martial arts training to recover both physically and spiritually. The video includes clips from the documentary movie, The Gift of Traditional Martial Arts. It also has rare footage and a personal message from my sensei, Grandmaster Shoto Tanemura.
I would like advice for young people. You keep a dream, you keep a hope without disappointment, because you born in this world. That's great, and everything's heaven gave for you already. You can eat, you can live in, so you have to do the some things thanks back for nature, for heaven, for family, for parents, for society, so you can grow up as a great person. Keep going and do your best.
Dusty is a student of mine who studies sword. And I met him before this accident that he had, but he wasn't really that serious at that point. He had kind of a passing interest in Bikinjutsu.
I attended some of his seminars, like weekend seminars at UWM.
But he had a horrible accident.
So I hit the jump with a lot of speed, and I knew that it was bad when I saw the tips of my skis going up. And I knew it was worse when I saw my skis against the sky.
He broke his neck. He broke the vertebrae in his spine.
The doctor wanted to perform surgery right away. He said that I had pulverized the one half of my vertebra, and they were going to clean out all the pieces and do a bone graft to repair it.
Now, when he first had the accident, nothing worked. So he was completely paralyzed. And when he was in the hospital, little by little, more of his motion came back.
The doctors throughout, after my surgery and throughout my hospitalization, would never give a long-term prognosis. All they would ever say is, you can expect to gain a lot of functionality over the first year, and then you can continue to gain for up to 5 years.
As a teacher, I was a little frightened teaching him, because I knew that he was depressed, and I knew that he needed something spiritually too. He didn't need just physical things. He needed something for his heart. And I didn't want to dishearten him by promising something I couldn't deliver.
It's kind of a matter of trying to find myself again. I mean, I lost my job. I finally felt at home. I was working at a really good school. You know, I really kind of felt like my whole purpose had gotten derailed.
So I first said, you can come in and I can talk to you about the Matsutatara philosophy. I would like to talk to you about the philosophy of life. I'd like to talk to you about why we are here and what we're supposed to do with our lives. And after explaining what I believed about life and explaining what I thought the purpose was, he agreed to train and to do whatever he could.
Let's drop, cut, goes down, and then that's the one I want you to do. So when you get to the point where you can drop down, you can do that.
We have primarily been doing weapons training. For training, we'll use either a wooden sword or a bamboo sword.
One of the things that Tanemura Sensei had taught me was Jojutsu, which is the use of a staff that was a little longer than a hanbo, but shorter than a rokushokubo. And so he could use that in one hand, almost like a crutch, and then in the other hand, he could use a sword.
When he comes with the technique, you're going to lean back slightly and hit up. Just ready, begin. Go. Push up. Ready? Go. Go. Good. In this part again. And this hand's gonna come up like this. So he comes here, bam, and your hand's like this. So you hit the right place, he'll definitely feel it.
But step by step, I work with him. We worked on trying to see if he could make cuts with his left hand, if he could make cuts with his right hand, if he could keep his balance.
Those things ended up being very physically intensive for me.
Okay, so we got two hands here. Okay, so tell me what's happening with this hand as far as what you can do and what you can't.
And my right side is weak, and part of that is that some of the muscles actually are not connected anymore. So they've atrophied, and other muscles work, but in a very limited way, so they're also very weak.
The real problem was his hand, because his hand was so tight, he couldn't very easily open his hand. Once it was in his hand, he could hold it fairly tightly, but just getting his hand open was difficult.
So can you hold this out just a little bit? This is good for weightlifting. Okay.
He worked by training his muscles. He had a traditional straw mat, and he would use that with the shinai to try to get his arm and shoulder muscles developed by stabbing that over and over again.
The two biggest problems I have with walking are also on my right side. The muscles in my calf are very tight, and then apparently the muscles that pull my foot up are very weak.
So he would practice, but sometimes his legs would tighten and he couldn't move, or he would shake uncontrollably in between turns. So I worked with him on many different things and many different angles.
I do still fall occasionally.
Mouth, go. Again, go. Come on, I know you're about to fall. Go, come on. Two more, go. Two more, go.
I spent almost 3 months altogether in the hospital. During that time, I was slowly getting function back, and I started to deal with the idea of not being able to do the things that I was used to doing. Really just got worse.
I know that's hard, but it's the only way. That's the only way that we're really going to be able to do this, okay?
I was living with my girlfriend at the time, and it was difficult because I was angry and I wasn't really dealing with it. The worst thing is falling near furniture. I've hit my elbow, hit my head, but I haven't, sustained anything more serious than some scratches and bruises. So coming into this spring, these things were all building up. I was having relationship problems. I felt like I had lost my daughter. I'd lost my way of life, basically. And then I was in deep financial problems. There were a lot of times when I felt like, this life is pretty much played out. It hasn't gone at all the way that I had hoped, and I don't know, like it was time to start over or just be done. I don't know what comes after, but from the fall of '06 through spring of '07, I ended up going into the hospital for depression and suicidal thoughts. Falling down like that has become kind of routine, but at the same time, some people might, take that as, I can't do this. I'm in above my head, but I've fallen a lot of times and I always get back up. The purpose of life is training, just focusing on the basics and improving myself day by day, moment by moment, being able to have the self-discipline and perseverance to just do what needs to be done. It seems like there's always an unlimited number of things to do. And if you look at it one way, that can be very frustrating or overwhelming. But if you look at it another way, that's life. And choosing to live means choosing to continue to practice, to continue to work. And the more things you accomplish, the better you feel and the better your life is, the more capable you are of being a role model, of teaching or influencing people in a positive way. What I'm going to have to do is continue to focus on what really feels like my purpose here, what I'm called to do. Every time I go to a martial arts class, I come back invigorated, which it seems backwards, but you go to a class for an hour or two and exert yourself and you're physically exhausted, and then I get done and I'd have all this energy and feel like I want to continue working out or just talking and exploring ideas and things like that. I had a very difficult setback. I had all the mental problems that followed, and they're still with me to some extent. My physical problems are still there, but over time I just want to keep getting better.
I continued to lecture and talk to him about his life. And as we continued to work with each other, he became happier and happier.
Just a couple of months ago, I wasn't able to put my arm up, and I could lift it with my other hand and then hold it for a few seconds, but then it would get tired out and fall down. At one point, I was at work and getting on the elevator, and I reached up with my right hand and pushed the button for the elevator, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I couldn't do that before. And it's like little things like that will strike me from time to time where I just realize, oh, I couldn't do that and now I can.
I hope that it's something that he continues with, because it's been inspiring to me to be able to work with him. And it's, I believe, a great gift that we still have him here, because he's tried to leave this earth. I believe that he helps all of us through his example. And I believe that he is one of the most inspirational people that I've ever met in my life.
I heard another person who had some kind of injury where they couldn't walk, and he said, the doctor said that I would never walk again. So what I did is I got up and walked and fell down and got back up and tried to walk and fell down, and that's basically what it takes, is you just keep trying.
Martial arts inspires people to train, inspires people to try, inspires people to keep going even when they're tired, to keep going even when they're depressed, to keep going even when it seems like there's no way, there's no hope. We need to train, we need to push ourselves, we need to question ourselves so that we can become better people and conquer insurmountable goals, so that together we know that anything's possible. I'm sure you'll enjoy all the videos in this series. Be sure to check out the resources below for more information.